Whenever you're ready, dog.
Oh, is it on? I don't see. I'm waiting for the live symbol. Okay. Welcome to Dare to Disagree, ladies and gentlemen, your weekly episodic podcast where we, couple of regular Joes that know a little something about something, tell y'all exactly how to fix shit that you're fucking up in your lives. I'm here. Jonathan S. out of California. They hate that
fucking,
intro. They hate that.
fucking
Hate
slow
that.
chemicals intro, way better, man. Way better.
That's that's fine.
This
Fine.
is this is Alone in the Dark. You know where I'm at.
We all got our burdens. All right, this is gonna be a quick little blurb this week. We really ain't got shit to talk about. Just jumping in, telling y'all have a happy week, all that. But I do have a quick story if you don't mind me sharing.
Get it.
This is a recent regret that came back to mind. And this I wanted your opinion on something about this. It'll be quick. But a long time ago, I had the chance to date a really strong woman. And by strong woman, I'm talking about one of those take no shit, independent, fucking had her own car, had her own money. I wasn't bringing anything to that relationship aside from dick. That was it. That was the only thing I was going to provide in that relationship. No smarts, no nothing. And I once nutted up and got the nerve to actually ask this broad out. And to my utter terrified surprise, the broad said yes.
Oh god damn.
I was, man, I haven't been much more scared in my
Say
life.
she's independent, well paid, and stupid. I don't get it.
Either that or I'm way more handsome than I give myself credit for, but that's not the point. The point I'm saying is, needless to say, I fucked it up by not showing up because I was too fucking terrified.
Oh shit.
Oh, dude, I didn't know how to handle that. I'll be honest with you, man. I just discovered how to fuck. I had no confidence about that whatsoever. On top of that, that girl had everything else, man. I knew I was gonna fuck that shit up sooner. It was one of those relationships, like you hear stories of people that were like, man, I was just waiting for how long it would take me to fuck it up. That would have been me. That would have been me all day. So I had a question. If you've ever been in a relationship like that, and if that was a positive for you or a negative, because I know guys that have dated strong women, and there's only two types of those dudes. Either they're just that woman's bitch for the entire relationship, or, and this is in a very few cases, those dudes end up being for the much more better. Like I'll say 1 out of 10 times has it been the dude being for the better. Usually it's that guy just becoming that chick's bitch.
Well, I think there's a difference between what a lot of people figure out as a strong, independent woman and what really is. Okay? Like, it's kind of hard, but I'll give you an example, and it's one you probably don't know, which is being a white man dating a black woman. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, there's various different types of black women. You know, there's like 3 different types. But what you get a lot of the times is a woman who is totally happy because, holy shit, she's not being treated like shit for once in her life. You know, no offense. But still is almost of the mentality where it's kind of like Patrice O'Neal said one time, where I'm a fucking great white shark. If she's a great white shark, she needs another great white shark. She doesn't want to be over here fucking dating any fucking, you know, goddamn turtles or shit like that. She needs something on her level. Well, with a lot of times in those relationships where it's a freaking black woman and a white guy, sometimes those women almost take it as, well, he's white, he doesn't know what I've been through, I gotta be the fucking tough one. Whether or not, like the one girl in question, you know, was the daughter of the dean of the private school I went to for a short while before my parents realized I couldn't afford it. This woman had never had a hard day in her life. Okay? Not a real hard day. Like somebody growing up in fucking Compton or fucking goddamn Harlem or some shit like that. But at times she acted like it. Like I
felt like she had to make up.
Yeah, like she had to be that person, you know? And that caused issues. You know what I mean? But I've seen women who are really strong really independent, don't need a man, but are still respectful in those relationships. They demand that they are respected, but they also give respect. A lot of women are not strong, not independent, okay? But they think they are that just because they act like an asshole to their fucking significant other, to some guy who wants to fuck them, so he's willing to put up with it.
That's absolutely true. And I
Those
think
are
that's
two very different things, you know?
I think that's what I innate like. I had realized at that point going in with that girl because I knew I wasn't ready for it. Hands down, the the amount of confidence she oozed just whenever she walked in the room because she was a bad chick, like just one of those just hips and tits, and it was just great, you know. And like not a little girl either. It was one of those like she's not fat, but in a fist fight, I would have to struggle. You add that to the fact that she was confident and had her own thing going on. When she said yes, it was more like I just challenged myself. I walked up. The only thing that gave me the courage to walk up and ask her out was knowing that there was absolutely no way in the world she was going to say yes, obviously.
Yeah.
When she said it, it caught me off guard. And now I was in a put up or shut up mode. Like, what the fuck am I really going to provide to this broad? Like, I'm some dumb fuck with half a dick about to run into this broad right here. And God forbid I don't, stand up to her on a emotional or mental level. And I got to bring a weak D game too. If that happened, that would just be, I couldn't live with myself as a man. I just walk out the door and shoot myself in the head, man. I can't have all three of those pillars collapse on the same person. So it was just, but yeah. I'm curious, have you ever dated a strong woman like that? Or any woman?
Yeah. Yeah, and for the most part, now, to be fair, okay, throughout my entire life, I was extremely adamant that this relationship's not going to go anywhere. Don't expect this shit to go anywhere. And the moment you do, I'm fucking out of here. Okay? I mean, a lot of my relationships, probably a good 50%, ended when the girl said, hey, I know, we're just doing this thing, but do you want to come meet my parents? I got no problem meeting a parent. I'll go to your house and pick you up. I'll go to your house, talk to your fucking mom and dad. If you're planning on, we've been dating for 3 months and now you want me to, no, you've misunderstood what this was. You know what I mean? Joe Rogan does a great skit where, you get in a relationship, we both understand, let's not label this, let's not try and make this anything it's not, let's just ride this out. And the woman goes, yeah, I'm totally in agreement. And then, a month later, if you don't do this, I'm going to cry. That's happened. The only difference is I fucking walked, I have a mom, I got a little sister, I have little cousins, female cousins. Women's tears do practically nothing to it just doesn't work anymore. That sensor in my body's burnt out. I'm fucking done. But I have dated some women who were great because they didn't need fucking anybody. They weren't running around like I know some women right now who haven't been dating, been doing, they're pretty successful in their jobs, but the whole time they're kind of pining away like, oh my God, I'm just alone. I'm gonna fucking never have anybody. I'm gonna fucking die alone. Never have kids. Blah, blah. There's women out there who don't even do that shit. If it happens, it happens, but I don't need a fucking man. I don't need no fucking kids. I'm doing fantastic on my own, and I love that shit. And that's really the type of woman you want to look for. Some woman, she's with you not because she needs you. She needs her fucking bills paid. She wants to have kids, and she's getting older, so she might as well fucking tie herself down to somebody, Some woman who doesn't fucking need you and still sticks around. That's a wonderful position to be in, All
right. I'm glad. I just wanted to see if it had worked out for you, because I know I missed my like that legitimately is one of my great regrets. Like I always thought to myself later on down the line, I was like, I really should have gone for it. I should have bitten that bullet, even if it had ended up bad. That would have been a great learning opportunity for me, because later on, I never truly dated, a woman that I just felt was head and shoulders over me. That was the first time of maybe 3 times in my life where I walked up to a woman and I was literally in awe at the chick,
Yeah.
not just on her looks, because that's not even a thing to be in awe about anymore. I live in California, but just all levels. Like, not only are you just on point, there is nothing I'm bringing in here that will make you better. You're literally, you're like a freaking multi-millionaire walking down the street and seeing some random dude drumming on trash cans and going, you know what? Come to my house. Come check out my drum set. I want to see what you got. I was just so blown away that she would even say that. It caught me off guard. So I'm glad to hear that you've had an experience like that. That makes me feel a little more hope.
Yeah, and it's really kind of sad that so many women are getting the wrong examples of what being strong and independent is. It's almost like, we've talked about before on the show, they say supposedly women mature faster than men. I've never seen that in my life. But what happens is the bullshit that women are told that means you're mature and you're a grown woman is putting on makeup, being sexy, acting fucking trashy. Like, look at what's that fucking girl's name? She's the daughter of a rock star, was a little teen idol, and then became a Miley
Cyrus?
Miley Cyrus, right there. She had a great thing going for her. And people even, you remember, people were posting that article somebody wrote, talking to what's her dad's name? Billy Ray Cyrus, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Talking to him about what it's like raising being a great parent in the middle of Hollywood and blah blah. Look at his daughter now. Do you want to fucking have him raise your kid?
Yep.
And that's kind of the problem. Miley Cyrus didn't become more mature at all. She stopped maturing. It's almost like she stopped maturing when she was a little kid, and now is a fucking grown adult and can't handle it. Getting up, putting makeup on, going around fucking, going on dates, fucking people, whether you're a woman or a guy, that doesn't make you mature at all. But women are convinced that that's what makes them mature. You see a little girl putting on makeup, oh, she grows up so fast. No, she's having horrible role models, and it's terrifying that a child is already self-conscious about her looks.
Yeah, I saw a friend of mine who's a model. She posted a picture of one of those. I think either it was another modeler, another like kid model, or her niece. And I remember looking at the picture and immediately noticing that the girl had mascara and eyeliner on.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been older than 5. And I'm like, okay, as a parent, lipstick is funny. Nail polish is funny. As a parent, I get that. I'm not letting my kid get out of the house with that shit, but it's funny. You're trying to mimic mom. You're putting on lipstick and nail polish. But mascara and eyeliner, somebody sat down with you and went through a drill that was utterly unnecessary.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary because I'm like, if that person valued that drill so much that they sat down with you and drew on your eyes really close to your eyeball at the age of 5, what else do they value?
Oh, yeah. And then, like, when I see a little kid, especially little girls, it happens little girls, come out and they got makeup on and they look like a fucking rodeo clown, I love, okay, that's a kid acting like a kid. When I see a kid under the age of fucking 14, and it's sad that I have to go that high, okay?
Yeah.
Under the age of 14 who has makeup that's done correctly, it just screams bad parenting to me. You're already telling this girl you are not attractive enough to be seen in public without putting a mask on your face.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying to me that that's told to women throughout the nation. There's people, I see it on my Facebook all the time, women posting, okay, in solidarity with cancer, I'm doing a fucking, no makeup picture on Facebook. Are you fucking kidding? You're that terrified of showing what your real face looks like that you think that that's doing a favor to somebody with cancer? And it legit, I'm not sitting here making fun of these women. That's legitimately how hard women are fucking pressed to have this shit on. I've seen women Like, I remember picking up one woman because her fucking car broke down. She never managed to make it home. Took her into work. She couldn't put on makeup. Luckily she had extra clothes. She had some extra stuff put around. She was able to freaking take a shower, put on some new clothes, but didn't have her makeup with her, so she didn't wear makeup for the rest of the day. Throughout that entire day, like, every person who spoke to her, are you sick? Are you tired? Are you feeling, maybe you should go home? All fucking day long, this woman was, no, I just couldn't put on makeup today. No, I'm fine, I couldn't put on makeup. You know? That was it. She had no makeup on, and she was being fucking bombarded by this shit for hours. An entire 8-hour workday. She took that shit. And that's fucking ridiculous to me, man. That's terrifying. And we make fun of, as Americans, we make fun of, or we look down on Muslim countries who make these women wear fucking burqas. 100%, I look down on them too. You know, I'm right there with you. But how far away are we that we won't let our women out the door unless they put painted on their fucking face? We're just as fucking covering our women as these people are. We're just doing it a different way, more expensive way. I would much rather buy blankets for my wife than fucking the amount of money she spends on makeup. Okay? But I don't know, man. That shit's heartbreaking to me. When the day my daughter says, you know, I say, hey, let's go get in the car, we're going to go out somewhere, and she says, I can't, I don't have makeup on, it's going to break my fucking heart, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel you. And on top of that, I mean, these I think makeup is completely different than what it was meant to be. The way I was taught makeup was meant to be, it's supposed to be a highlight, a little touch-up for your already natural beauty. But literally what it is now is just a transformation. You become an entirely different person. I mean, that your story about that chick at work is hilarious to me, because I actually talked to a girl who once said, like, I would rather see a chick in goth makeup rather than no makeup.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the did you even hear what you just said out of your face, woman? That is, and you've said this a bunch of times before too. It's also funny because it's very rarely the men that complain about this. It's other women. It's other women that are the biggest perpetrator of pushing this agenda on other women. It's very rarely the men. Most men don't care. They don't give a damn.
Yeah, what's his name? Cat Williams, pretty getting his ass kicked. But by the way, and I don't know if this is being reported wrong.
Gotta be my parting shot.
To be fair, did you know that 7th grader he was beat up by was 17 years old?
No, I didn't know that. Holy crap.
I don't know. The kid is definitely 17. I don't know if it's a misprint saying he's in 7th grade, but if he is, holy shit. You know, like,
that might give you a reason as an adult to fight him.
Jesus, you know? I mean, he should be, what, 7th grade, 13 at that age? 11, 13? And he's fucking, that's awful to me, you know?
Still, the boy lost, man. That's brutal. Didn't look good for Cat. I mean, say what you want. He was a high schooler, and Cat Williams is 40 and change. That's about as awful as that can go. It's like, look, I could give you a lot of benefits of the doubt, but and I think Charlemagne the God was the one. He's on a radio show early in the morning, and he made a comment which kind of cemented the whole thing for me, which was, why was Cat Williams at a high school where his kids weren't?
I'm sure we'll probably never get the correct answer of it, but you know, I'm sure his excuse is, I was there to support the children as a celebrity, you know, and everybody else, of course, is going to say, because he's a fucking loser and nobody above the age of 7th grade wants to hang out with him.
Well, the issue Charlemagne brought up was, it's not like he was there with publicists or marketing managers or anybody. It was just him. And if you look at the video, it's just him and a couple of kids. I don't think I remember seeing any other adult in the video until they were split up.
Yeah. I don't know.
And as you see yourself getting into an altercation and see someone whip out a camera, you keep going? How do you not know where this ends up? I mean, you're not an internet rookie anymore. We've lived past the point where people can pretend I didn't realize the internet was gonna function this way. You know what it is? It's like if I live in California, as I've said. If I go to a skate park and I see a bunch of kids gearing up to do something, and I see someone whip out a camera, and I hear anyone say the phrase "Watch this," I leave. I immediately leave. Do you know why? There is no way this ends up being a good story. None. None. Best case scenario. Yeah, exactly. Best case scenario, that kid pulls out a sick skateboard trick. I still don't need to be here for that. I can watch the video later, you know? Or you're in a supermarket walking around and you see somebody pick up a jug of milk or pick up a bunch of fruit, and then a friend whips out a camera. I don't want to be in the frame of that video. Doesn't matter what happens next. It could just be like, they're just, haha, look at this. I got cantaloupe boobs. I don't need to be there. I don't need to be there for that. I don't need to be associated with that video. So Cat Williams saw that camera come out, knew he was in an interesting enough situation that someone was whipping out in camera, and kept going. And then threw the first punch.
Yeah.
Which really kind of killed any other thing. It's that whole thing was just sad. Sad. It's definitely not equal to a strong woman's point of view to me.
Definitely not. Speaking of a strong woman, did you see that video of that it looked like a college girl harassing that kid, white kid, because he's wearing dreadlocks?
Oh, I was it the two little children?
No. They were both college kids. Now,
no, I haven't seen that.
I'll share it with you so you could see how ridiculous this shit is. But
Gotcha.
it's kind of a product of its times. You know what I mean? Because what happened is the kid looks fucking ridiculous. Okay, the white kid in dreadlocks looks like an idiot, talks like he's an idiot. I definitely could see why somebody would be annoyed with him. Okay. Matter of fact, I really in my life can't think of a single white person in dreadlocks that at least didn't seem to me dumb as fuck. Okay. But anyways, kid's wearing dreadlocks, and this girl stops him and tells him he needs to take his dreadlocks out because him having dreadlocks is appropriating her culture.
Was she a black girl?
Yep. And
Christ.
Now, to be fair, because it would have been more, she did have seemingly natural hair. Because I was waiting for her to have like fucking straightened hair with extensions in, bitching at this fucking kid with his dreadlocks. Okay, when I first heard about this video until I actually saw it, but she actually got physical with this kid. Okay, like he tries to walk away and she's like grabbing him and like fucking yelling at him that he needs to take it out. And he goes, and finally, like, she turns around and sees that somebody's videoing it, and it looks like she fucking attacks that guy, too. Like, fucking tries to yank his phone out of his hand. And it cuts right there. You know, like, she turns around, but, I don't know, man, how do you, is this kid appropriating this girl's culture?
No, this is kind of one of the things that ends up happening whenever a good thing is around too long. Eventually, some fuckhead is going to take it too far. It's like the Black Lives Matters interrupting Bernie Sanders' speech. You couldn't have picked the worst target. He's the one person at his own detriment pushing for this culture. You interrupting him is the dumbest thing you could have done for the movement. To Bernie Sanders' credit, he just stepped back, let him do what they did. No, there's no... Once you have a cultural thing out there, it's like yoga pants. Once yoga pants come out of whatever subculture they were popular in, I'm going to assume yoga practitioners. Once yoga pants come out of that culture and become the favorite tool of trade for any girl, from a fat girl going to get a cheeseburger at McDonald's to a yoga practitioner, it's not your culture anymore. It's not, once it's in the public, it's not your culture anymore. It's like I've heard people, I used to get in arguments all the time when I was in high school because I was one of the few people who would tell people, hey guys, dead or alive. Well, not dead or alive. Alive, living rapper, best living rapper, hands down, Eminem. This is not a discussion. It's a fact. And they would go, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, listen, you want a comedian? You want a serious person? You want some guy who can tell you a deep emotional story? You want a guy who can rap fast, who can rap slow, who can be entertaining, who can be serious? You put him on any track, any type of music, rap wise, and he will perform at elite levels. Elite levels.
Okay.
There is no other rapper off the top of my head in the game that can do that. There's no other rapper that can morph into so many genres that comfortably. Any other rapper that can do that, they don't usually morph. It's just their style of rapping works with so many genres. No other rapper can morph into that many skills. And people would get mad at me to the point where, especially black people, they would go, well, he can't be a rapper. And I would go, he can't be the greatest rapper of all time. Why? And I could see them holding back saying what they really wanted to say, which was because he's white and rap is a black thing. No, it ain't, fucker. It's a style of music. We lost it. We lost it when it's to stop being just a bunch of DJs in New York rapping around street corners. We lost that art. It's now everybody's. They're Pakistanis rapping in Arabic. We don't have a monopoly on this anymore. So no, it's not.
Now here's another question though: is what would you consider? You know, another funny part of that video, just as a little aside, is at one point she's grabbing a hold. It looked like she had a hold of his sleeve to stop him from walking away. He was trying to walk away from her, so she grabbed a hold of his sleeve. Well, he tried to pull away and then grabs her hand to remove it, and she starts yelling, "Take your hands off me!" While she's holding on to him to stop him from getting away. Okay.
She was fuck up clearly from the beginning.
But what would you consider cultural appropriation, like bad cultural appropriation?
I don't think there's anything I would consider bad culture appropriation. I think it would be using something in the wrong way. Let me give you an example. If I ever see, oh, actually, there is a perfect example of this. I don't remember what politician it was, but there's a politician. I want to say it was who was the black guy that was running for the conservative thing for a little while?
Ben Carson?
Ben Carson. I want to say it was a Ben Carson thing. But anytime I see a politician use rap music to rap about his electorate, okay, that's a blatant appeal to black culture. It's fucking awful. It's fucking awful. It's terribly done. Or if I see, I would feel the same way if I saw a politician singing country music to appeal to that demographic of voters. It's just stop. Or when you hear somebody say something like, you get a white, and I the only ideas I can come up with off the top of my head are politicians. A white politician come up to a school and say something like Drake, I just want to take you all home, or I just want to be successful, or some shit like that. Fucker, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't. The only time I don't think
there's actually a perfect example. Here, let me show it to you. I got it right here.
Yeah.
Of exactly what you're saying right now. God damn it! Let me switch over here. Tell me if you've seen this.
Yeah. Oh my God, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton. Is that Hillary Clinton rapping?
No. Well, all she says, if you can't hear it, she just says, "I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids," and her little thing there says, "Hillary Clinton."
Yeah, no. See that I don't think anybody can appropriate a culture per se. I think once you're like, let me put it this way: Samoans have that what's it called? That Maori dance, what's it called? The hata or the hot? You know the one I'm talking about. It's really popular now. There's a wedding where the whole group at the wedding did the dance.
Oh, shit, anyway, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it. It's a
Maori tribal dance, right?
Yeah.
If somebody were to start mimicking it and doing it, they're not appropriating the culture. It's a thing that's out on the internet now. People can appropriate things like that. That's kind of demeaning. You're getting into kind of demeaning territory, but I don't think it's necessarily appropriating the culture. Or what are these people that get those Samoan tattoos, like the tribal Samoan tattoos?
Yeah, it's all white people who had $200 at the wrong time.
Exactly. You could say that's appropriation of a culture, but I don't feel that way. I feel like your culture is popular now. You're part of the popular conversation. This is what happens with popular things.
Well, and something some people pointed out is, what about her? Okay, I don't think her culture invented jackets,
Yeah.
jeans, cotton fiber blends. I know zippers were designed by a guy in Chicago fairly fucking recently. Okay, so I mean, she gets all that. At what point does that stop? You know, I mean, there's shit we use all the time that was built by other people's cultures.
Now
So
I don't.
when does that line get cut? You know?
That's why I don't think there's any line to cut. I think there's only one line, and that's I'm trying to word it correctly. What I want to say is racism, but that's the inaccurate way to word what I want to word. What I'm saying is the only line is when you appropriate a culture to the point of
Insult.
demeaning
Well,
it isn't
like blackface would be an example.
exactly that's what I'm saying. Do I know what you're doing? Yes, you're using a form of mockery, right? Maybe to you it's a mockery of black people. Maybe to you you're just being funny. Either way, you've crossed from appropriation to dismissive and demeaning. You're reducing an entire culture to one thing.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's what it is when you reduce a culture to one essence. Like if you you know I'm trying to think of it for white people, but it's again, I've said this before. It's really tough to do this for white people because you guys don't have any culture per se.
well, here's an example that happens every Halloween: the hillbilly thing. You see people with the straw hats on, have their teeth blackened out, in overalls.
The reason the hillbilly thing doesn't really sting that much is because you got city people that have no notion of that identity.
Well,
You got
there's
kids
quite
that
a few black people who don't take on the ghetto pants sagging, fucking dreadlocks type shit too.
no, I mean, like the blackface, for example, that encompasses all of it. Whether you're a ghetto saggy pants or you're a guy in a suit in an executive office, that blackface stings for you just as much as for the other. And it's really hard for me to think of. Okay, actually, I can think of one, which is kind of messed up, but it's the closest I can think of it. It's people are called racists. Whenever and white people are called racist. Whenever a minority has a disagreement with a white person that they can't logic out, so they end with it being racist.
Okay.
That demeans the argument, and it's a way of cheapening, like kind of poisoning the well when you're talking to a white person about something. Sometimes that's what people will use because they have no actual logical basis or no actual argument for what they're stating, and a white person comes back and try to talk them down of it, like down, and they kind of go off the whole like, well, you're just a racist, you couldn't understand. No, no, fucker, this guy has a point. Especially in race conversations. I think that's why a lot of white people hate to get into race conversations because the last thing they want is to be labeled as that just for having an honest opinion. It's a dicey place to be too because there are a lot of white people who are racist.
Yeah. Well, and I think a distinction a lot of people don't have is there's a big difference with somebody who's racist and somebody who doesn't give a shit about your problems.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that no, that person's not being racist? They might be self-centered. They might be being egotistical, only thinking about themselves, but that isn't racism. You know?
I'll actually give you a perfect example of that. Not the self-centered thing, but the racist thing. I constantly have to sit there and explain to black people I know after they meet you that you're not a racist.
And why would you tell them that? You're lying to all your friends.
Because they're under the assumption that because of how you approach race and race conversation with no fear, That's because you're comfortable in your racism. And I always have to tell him, no, fucker, just so you know, he'll talk the same shit to white people too. This isn't a aimed at just one type of person. So it's I don't know. I think there's no appropriation is the answer to it. There's no such thing as appropriation. There's just demeaning a culture. If you go too far in your appropriation and start demeaning a culture, like if you reduce all of Germany to lederhosens and pretzels,
Which you should.
shouldn't. Yeah, then you're. This is. If you're doing it in America on Halloween, all right, we get the joke. We're not that culture. We know the culture. You're making a huge highlight. Or if you're a white guy walking around in a dashiki, you could pull off a South African.
Yeah.
You know, we get the joke, and you're not being demeaning. Now, if you walk around in a dashiki with blackface, you just crossed the line. You could have just, you made your point with just the outfit. Why was the blackface necessary? You're reducing that culture. I mean, it's a conversation I feel like we should really talk a little more about and have but after we've actually sat down and given it some thought, because that's a tricky one to approach.
Yeah. You know, my thing is and it happens a lot more with feminists than anybody else, is what does it matter to me if somebody decides and proclaims that I'm racist, sexist, fill in the fucking blank, you know? Like, and it's really funny, the reason I say it happens with feminists, not necessarily that they're even worse about it than any other group, it's just, you will find a lot of the time, a lot of them think that made them win the conversation, that they've made a fucking case that you're sexist. What does that change about my life? You know? Especially being sexist in a not ridiculous way. Look at fucking Donald Trump, okay? He's been pretty ridiculously sexist in a lot of fucking ways. Still probably, you know, going to be the Republican nominee for president. Still have a good chance of being the president of the United States. Just deciding somebody is sexist or racist doesn't change much about their lives unless they're ridiculously so. Okay, like that one sports announcer, I think he was a sports announcer, when he said, you know, was like, got too enthralled in talking shit about an enemy team and said they just look like a bunch of nappy-headed hoes out here. And his ass got shit canned. Totally fucking deserved it, you know? But if he was just disagreeing with that group of black women and they decide he's fucking sexist or racist, whatever they want to go with, no effect. You know what I mean? Yep. That doesn't change anybody's life in any way. Being legitimately racist doesn't even really change your life. And in all honesty, I don't think it should. I don't think being racist alone should be a criminal fucking offense. Now, if your company wants to fucking fire your ass because they don't want you representing their company, I totally understand that. I'm fine with the company deciding, hey, if you want to be racist, that's up to you. But you're not going to be racist while carrying our fucking name, you know? But being racist or sexist on its own, that's not a criminal offense, you know?
I've heard people make a very good argument recently, which I've actually been very partial to, which is you need to sorry, that's the wrong word. We need to destigmatize racism and let racists be able to speak and come out. In fact, stop putting that racist label on people, not because it's a good thing or we want to encourage it, but more so than not, so we know who the racists are. If you let that stuff be said in the open and all that, we can now as a society decide who to just ignore and deal with. That'll also be a great way of kind of teaching people, hey, this behavior won't be acceptable. Not by yelling or demeaning them. It's just like, if you have this behavior, generally you're going to be shunned aside from your little racist circle.
I mean, look what happened to the KKK now. And it's kind of funny because I've been seeing a lot of posts, which does have elements of truth, like the FBI and some other serious groups attacking like the Black Panthers or attacking other groups that, yeah, you know, they did some kind of sketchy stuff, but at the end of the day, you can't say the whole group or even a healthy percentage of the group were bad. You know what I mean? Most of these people had good intentions, as do most people in practically any group. Okay? But people say, they attacked the Black Panthers, but the KKK is still going strong. No, it's not. The KKK exists just barely. And out of 350 million fucking Americans, there's 5,000 KKK members estimated nationwide.
There's a little more now because of Trump, or more admitted because of Trump, supposedly, but not by much.
According to what?
Hmm?
According to what?
Well, I forgot the statistic I saw. I'll put it up later on. There's a statistic that's supposed to say a bunch of people, KKK claimed membership surged, but then again, it's in their benefit to do so, huh? But supposedly, after Obama was elected, numbers for white supremacist movement surged a little bit, and after Trump started running, same thing.
I'd like to see that number because, and what's funny is I tried to look that up right now, and there's still articles out. Why won't Donald Trump disavow the KKK's nomination?
He already did.
He did like within 48 hours of them saying anything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I want to fucking see it and see who's saying it. That's another thing. I don't believe 90% of this bullshit I hear coming from anybody's group. Okay,
Sure.
So far I've been hearing of people sneaking into Bernie Sanders groups and just happening to eavesdrop all the people saying all the free stuff, how they're never going to have to work again in their life once Bernie Sanders is elected, blah, blah, blah. And then some Bernie Sanders fans sneak into a Trump rally, and man, I could just hear them talk about how much they love the KKK and white power, and they saw an Indian kid, and they started calling him a fucking Muslim, and then they just murdered him in the back. Okay. What's funny is like one of these supposed fucking guys had the camera on him to take a selfie while he was at the Trump rally, but not, unlike practically any millennial in the world, videotape it.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly the video fucking tape didn't work, where he could have really recorded some people talking shit. He didn't even have to point the camera at him. Just turn that shit on, let it listen,
Yep. I mean, it's unfortunate how things are going and the situation we're in. But I mean, in defense of the millennials, I feel like it's always been this way. we just have a better ability to catch it on camera and on video now, and an easier way to spread the lies. That's all.
Yeah. Somebody said the quote better than I could, but it's more the more things change, the more they stay the same. There's nothing new in the world.
True. No matter what we go through, nothing's quite new. All right. You got anything else to cover, or we're wrapping this up?
That's all I got.
All right. So let's hit a parting shots. You got any?
Shit, I had one. You go first. I had something earlier, but I forgot.
I was going to talk about Cat Williams.
Yeah, that might have been it, motherfucker.
Celebrate Cat Williams. I look, I'll be honest with you guys. There's something going on with that guy, and it's been going on for a while. And it's not just him. Every major celebrity seems to go through these phases. And I'm starting to wonder how much longer it's going to be before we all kind of go, what the fuck is wrong with Hollywood that people do this when they get there? Because, I mean, there is one of those things of like personal responsibility and all that. Nah, I agree with it. But I think after a while, if kids in a specific part of town keep throwing very specific tantrums, after a while, when we all go, okay, at first we're like, the parents are awful, but after a while, when we just go like, what the fuck is going on in that part of town that all these kids have this exact same behavior? They go crazy, they recover, and then they're a little more quiet and humbled. It's like, what the fuck is going on over in Hollywood that makes all of these people, not just people that were rich from the beginning, but people that were poor and then became rich just become awful. I don't know what it is. Something's going on. Something's going on. I wish somebody would pay more attention to that. You know, you got freaking Eddie Griffin running down the street naked. Eddie Murphy had his own issues. Freaking Dave Chappelle literally went back to Africa. Like, what? What is going on in Hollywood? Robin Williams is killing himself. This is not a guy who's broke. This is a guy who's got the respect of millions, and life was terrible for him. Terrible.
You know what's crazy is I saw the thing that the day after Robin Williams killed himself, suicide hotlines got like the most calls in the recorded history.
And you can't, I mean, it's understandable. This was a guy, think about Robin Williams while he was alive. Could you have fathomed that that guy was struggling with depression? I mean, we all know comedian, like humor comes from sadness. We get that. Time plus tragedy equals comedy. We understand that. But would you have ever fathomed that this was the guy to kill himself?
No, fuck no. I mean, I had no idea that was coming.
Granted, we didn't know the guy personally, but it's like, of all the people we didn't know personally, especially comedians, I honestly thought Jim Carrey would go before him, because Jim Carrey had more weird breakdown moments than he did.
Yeah, he's like he's like firmly anti-vax, right?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, but whatever. That makes sense. He's a crazy guy. But it was like, yeah. So I mean, of all the people you thought would have committed suicide, that wouldn't be the guy. So if you got guys like him, guys like people like Mariah Carey, who I know I fucking hate Mariah Carey, just so put it out there, but Mariah Carey wasn't always like she is now. She wasn't this ridiculous, over-the-top, inhuman diva. She used to be a human being, like just a relatable person who used to hang around with Biggie. All of a sudden, she's just this over-the-top diva. I mean, what keeps happening in Hollywood that makes people, even people that have lived a regular life, just become people that they clearly know are ridiculous? Kanye is the best example of it. I've been saying that for months to people. I'm like, yeah, that's.
Hey, well, there's some D's about her. Well, maybe not diva, but that I really enjoy.
I don't enjoy nothing about that broad, man. None of that is real. But
yeah, it must be cold out there.
I'll tell you who's the most fascinating person to me, and I tell people all the time, Kanye West. Kanye West's album in order are the most fascinating trip into the mind of someone who's getting success. If you pay attention to it, the more successful Kanye has become, the darker each album has been. There is, you could say that whole money doesn't bring happiness. That's bullshit, because I know some real people, some rich people that are extremely happy. I say Hollywood doesn't bring happiness. There's something about fame that inherently just, it fucks with people. And
I think immaturity brings unhappiness no matter how much money you have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that might be, like in Kanye's case, he probably thought, by the time I get this much money, all my problems are going to be fixed. No amount of money fixing that, son.
Here's the funny part, and I really, it's a challenge I really encourage you to do. Listen to Kanye West's album in order from start to finish. In his original albums, this is a guy who was talking about, I'm a backpack rapper. You know, he was apologizing to Mos Def and Kweli about talking about jewels and hoes in his rhymes. He had a song called Jesus Walks. This is a guy who was, you know, clearly was looking for something better, but was fairly down to earth and seemed kind of self-reflective enough to be like, I know this is kind of ridiculous what I'm doing, but I'm doing it because this is what you guys want. This is the success I'm getting. So the first 3 albums are kind of in that vein. Then you hit 808 and Heartbreaks. This is right around the time when he's starting to, you know, pine for Kim Kardashian, you know? All of a sudden it's like a love album, you know, talking about women, not so heavy on the bitches shit as much as he usually is. He wasn't before actually, but that was he was even more careful about the bitches in that album. and it's just more lovey-dovey. Then he gets Kim Kardashian, and you get My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which is this crazy, over-the-top epic with just all these awesome moving parts and all these deep storylines. And then you get Yeezus, which is just rage, just pure rage. And this comes out about the time when he's trying to be a freaking was he doing? A clothing fashion designer, quote unquote. He's trying to be a fashion designer, and you can tell he's frustrated because he's not breaking in the industry as much as he would like to, and that's falling apart. That, there, and this. And now The Life of Pablo, which is just all about paranoia and regret. Like,
I don't know, man.
Fuck, are you so mad? Dude, you have, even at your brokest, you're richer than 90% of the planet. You have arguably the baddest bitch on planet Earth. You got a beautiful daughter. I hope you think she's beautiful. You're a father. You better hope she's beautiful. You're friends with Jay-Z. You're hobnobbing it with some of the most successful people in the whole world, and you practically have the world in the palm of your hands. Why the fuck are you so angry?
I mean, I think he brings it on himself, man.
I don't care what you're trying to achieve in life. Look around you. Like, I live in a place where on my worst day, I walk out, I look at the horizon, and I can see the ocean and immediately feel better. Immediately feel better. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get what it is about fame that does that to people.
Well, some people, like
who's okay?
Jay-Z. I mean, when has he really gone off the deep end?
Oh no, he's got issues. I think Jay-Z is just a product of good management.
Yeah, but I think more issues than your average person.
Look at how quickly that whole Solange and Beyonce thing disappeared.
But to be fair though, it's not like I've never had to beat the shit out of my sister-in-law.
But the point is,
to be honest, he handled that, pretty maturely, considering he's being attacked, has every reason to knock a bitch on her ass, and doesn't. So really, the only, I wouldn't even call that a Jay-Z thing. That was just Solange ass. Like, Jay-Z handled it like a fucking mature adult.
He handled it better than Ray Rice.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Didn't end up dragging that broad out the elevator. But I mean, and Jay-Z, you're right. Jay-Z is also a little more mature. He seems to handle himself mature. He does a pretty good job of keeping himself out of the public eye, But it's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
And the thing is with him is he uses the publicity for his benefit when he needs it.
Yep.
Okay, like all the fucking antics Kanye has done against the paparazzi and stuff like that ended up making him more of a star, and then people wanted to see more of it. Like, what's the next stupid thing? Is he gonna run into a sign again and blame it on the paparazzi because he's that fucking stupid?
That was funny. But anyway, that was my parting shot. I just want people to pay attention. There's something going on.
I don't know, man. It's something ridiculous, and it worries me. You know what I'm saying? And I can totally see. I've seen women, okay, just beautiful women from really standard upbringing, go crazy because every guy wants to fuck them and treats them like they could do no wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the bigger issue. That's the issue with Hollywood and all this money, is you get surrounded by people who just will never say you're wrong in your life. And makes you fucking... And a lot of people, like, I'll hear a lot of celebrities, usually sports figures, who will say, who are you thankful for? I'm thankful for my mom or my wife or somebody for keeping me grounded, for not letting this shit go to my head. That's why I'm able to be a success. That's why I'm able to fucking not lose my mind and go to jail and lose my multi-million-dollar contract, because I have somebody who keeps me fucking grounded,
Stops you from doing that. All right, that's fair. All right, so you figured out your parting shot yet, or are we done?
No, man, fuck that party shot. We're done.
Well, that's been Dare to Disagree, ladies and gentlemen. Been your host.
And this has been Alone in the Dark.
I'd see you next week, hopefully.
Yeesh.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Stitcher. We got our stuff on Stitcher. Got our stuff on YouTube. Self
iTunes, SoundCloud.
iTunes and SoundCloud. Please feel free to check that shit out. And
Dare2disagree.com will be back up eventually once I'm done fighting with Google.
well, once that's up, by then I'm sure. Do we have an email yet? We need to lock that down. We'll figure it all out.
Yeah, info@dare2disagree.com or admin or Alone in the Dark or Jonathan Esther or Jay Esther or got all kinds of email stuff.
Those emails at Gmail for your pleasure if you want to holler at us. Have a great one, guys.
Now we're out. Later.